Hi, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of VR 365. My name is Anthony, and you are tuned in to a brand new series that is going to be debuting on this channel. It is called the Viveport Report. Now, what is the Viveport Report all about? I'm glad you asked. Well, it's all about Viveport Infinity, which I believe is the best kept secret in all of VR gaming. Yeah, I know I've said it before. VR 365 is the best kept secret in VR gaming. Well, actually, we're probably number 2 because I think Viveport Infinity is incredible. It is an amazing value, especially if you're a brand new PC VR player. If you just got yourself a brand new PC VR headset, possibly a Valve Index, possibly a Rift S, maybe a Quest 2 that you're using as a PC VR headset, or maybe you got a brand new HP Reverb G2. Whatever the case may be, you don't really need to run out there and go buy a whole bunch of games. No, what you really should do is grab yourself a subscription to Viveport Infinity. Why? Because there's so many incredible games that you can play as much as you want, and you can download all these different games. New games are being added to the service all the time. In fact, exciting upcoming big games do hit Viveport Infinity. In fact, we're going to talk about an exclusive that is currently only available on Viveport Infinity right now. It's going to be coming to Steam and also the Oculus Store a little bit later, but if you want to play it right now, Viveport Infinity is the way to do it. Also, you've got brand new releases that are going to be coming in the not too distant future. For example, today is November 27th, and today a game called Hinge is available on Steam by Arcadia. Now you can go buy that game on Steam or possibly the Oculus Store and have a lot of fun with it, or you can take that money, put it into Viveport Infinity, and supposedly on December 4th, Hinge will be coming to Viveport Infinity. So you can also get brand spanking new games, maybe 1 week delayed from their actual release, but that's not that big of a deal. So there's lots of great stuff in the Viveport Infinity package. So many great things. I've been sampling a lot of stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Today I'm going to talk about 6 different games and experiences on Viveport Infinity that I think are well worth checking out. Some of them a little bit better than others, but let's go ahead and get into it and let's discuss it in just a minute. We'll be right back. And we're back, and the first experience I want to get into is Synth Riders. Now, this is a game that has been available for a number of years. This is nothing brand new. This has been out there, and of course, it is part of the rhythm action category, which has been incredibly popular in VR gaming. Obviously, Beat Saber is the poster child for this particular genre, but you have other games like Audica and so many others that have come out in the months and years following the arrival of Beat Saber. And Synth Riders is one of those games. And I got to admit that honestly, I looked at a lot of these Me Too Beat Saber clones and basically completely avoided them. And it's a terrible mistake because Synth Riders is pretty god-darn fantastic. I've really been enjoying this game in Viveport Infinity. There's something about rhythm action in VR that truly is special. It's not so much that Beat Saber is an anomaly and an incredible game. It is an incredible game, but really what's going on here, folks, is that the rhythm action genre with virtual reality is another match made in heaven. It's very similar to horror games, puzzle games, and a lot of other experiences that for whatever reason just match up with VR perfectly. I think the real key here, folks, is that your head and both hands are tracked very accurately, which means if you're able to play some kind of rhythm action style game, they're able to determine what your upper body is doing based on your hands and your heads simultaneously, and it can all combine for a really incredible experience. In fact, I'm almost tempted to call it orgasmic. And what I'm talking about when I say orgasmic is an audio visual experience that takes you to untold heights. I've mentioned before that when I was playing Beat Saber for the very first time, I felt that goosebump sensation, an electrical feeling that was running down my arm. Felt the same way in certain sections of Audica, and I even mentioned when playing Audica that I've reached the highest highs that I've ever achieved in VR gaming in terms of just audio visual splendor and just being like, man, this is incredible. And I gotta tell you, I felt pretty much the exact same feeling during very specific portions of Synth Riders. So you gotta give a lot of credit to Kludge Interactive. Now, there's been a lot of DLC updates, there's a lot of add-ons and different things that you can add on to it as well. But if you have Viveport Infinity, you can definitely play Synth Riders, you can get a feel for the game, and I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And it's also a good exercise game as well. A lot of us are looking to drop a few pounds, especially now that we're in the winter season and we're a little bit more lethargic. We're staying indoors. We're eating more fatty foods, holidays, Thanksgiving, things like that. You might want to burn a few calories, and Synth Riders, absolutely perfect in that regard. Okay, now we're going to get to the second experience I've tried in Viveport Infinity, and that is a non-game experience. It is called The Line, and it is developed by Arbory. Now, this is the developer, of course, that is partially responsible for Pixel Ripped 1989, Pixel Ripped 1995. These guys have done some incredible things in the VR gaming world over the last several years. But here they've decided to do a cinematic movie interactive kind of experience that is really quite fantastic. In fact, I gotta tell you, VR gaming is not just gaming. Virtual reality has a lot more to it than just gaming. When we think of a new level of video experiences, like when we went from standard definition to high definition. Sure, you had high definition video games, but we also had high definition video material. And I think the same thing is going to happen in the world of virtual reality. Video games are going to be the primary driver, but when people start to experience sports, concerts, short movies and narratives in a virtual reality form of volumetric video and different capabilities that are going to be coming in the not too distant future, I believe it's going to be pretty spectacular. And there's a lot more non-gamers out there than there are gamers, and we need to attract them into the fold as well. The more people buying VR headsets, the better our VR headsets are going to get, and the more variety and options that will be featured within the VR headsets that we're able to purchase. So interactive experiences like The Line can help usher in a new era of non-gaming content for VR audiences. The Line is set in a 1940s Sao Paulo, Brazil, featuring two miniature dolls, Pedro and Rosa. It's a story about love and the fear of change. It's narrated by Brazilian-born actor Rodrigo Santoro, of course, maybe better known as Hector Escaton in HBO's Westworld series. Earlier this year, The Line won two prestigious awards. It won the award for Best VR Experience at the 76th Venice International Film Festival, and it also won a Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Innovation in Interactive Programming. The experience lasts somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, and it takes very good use of room scale capabilities to really dial you in and make it that much more immersive and that much more effective. That, of course, is The Line by Arbory, available on Viveport right now. Now, before we get to the third Viveport game or experience that we're about to talk about, I wanted to briefly mention that at VRGameRankings.com, we rank the top 100 most wanted PC VR games. And coming in at number 72 is DeMagnete by Bitcake Studio. Now, here's the thing. You can't get this game anywhere, right? Wrong. If you have a subscription to Viveport Infinity, you can play DeMagnete by Bitcake Studio right now. It is not available on Steam. It's not available on Oculus Store. It is a timed exclusive on Viveport. So there's also options like that. Now, I did get to try out DeMagnete by Bitcake Studio, and I found the game to be an enjoyable puzzle game that has some interesting and unique features. So basically in this game, you've got these red cubes and blue cubes. You also have both force push and force pull. The triggers on your motion controllers basically activate either force pull or force push. One trigger shoots out a blue wave, another trigger shoots out a red wave, and a blue wave can grab a red cube, a red wave can grab a blue cube, and the vice versa acts as a pushing force to shoot the cubes away. And so basically you're going to be dealing with these various puzzles where the cubes are trapped inside something and you have to use your force pull and your force push to move the cubes around and to get them on these different activating platforms, which will then open up doors, allowing you to progress further through your journey through this facility. You're working with someone else. They're guiding you through this facility. They're talking to you. They're explaining different aspects of the situation to you, and you're moving through the various puzzles. Now, ultimately, what is my final feeling on DeMagnete? Well, not really a final feeling, but more of my initial impression. This game would have been a great game to play in 2016 or 2017. It's still a pretty decent, solid puzzle game. And on a program like Viveport, where you're not actually paying extra money to play it, it's part of the service, it's great entertainment, and it's definitely a fun afternoon. Now, if I'm a regular Joe Schmo out there that is looking to possibly buy this game off Steam when it comes on to Steam or Oculus Store later on at a later point into the future, I'm not so sure I would run out and want to buy DeMagnete right away, but possibly on a sale or a discount, it could still be a very fun puzzle game. Okay, now there's another experience I want to get to on Viveport, and this goes back to the experience category from the game category. And this one is Gloomy Eyes. So we're talking about another immersive media kind of experience. Now, when we're in this world of VR, there's a question as to how are we going to do movies? How are we going to do TV shows? How are we going to do non-interactive entertainment that we can watch, we can enjoy, but we can take advantage of what virtual reality brings to the table? And with Gloomy Eyes, it's really quite interesting what they're doing here, because it very much feels like you've entered into the world of Tim Burton. It is very Tim Burton-esque. It reminds me of Nightmare Before Christmas. And it's interesting how the puppets and the 3D characters are just interacting like right in front of you, and they're so close to you. So much attention to detail. It's painstaking what they've gone through here to set up every scene, to have the lighting just the right way to focus you in. And they really use lighting to great effect in both Gloomy Eyes and before when I was talking about The Line. This is a very effective way in VR. You put the player in kind of a darkened area and you use streaks of light. The player is naturally going to follow the streaks of light, which leads on to the next aspect of the interactive or immersive media that you're experiencing. In this case, in Gloomy Eyes, you're turning around. You're moving from one area to another area. This is also a room scale experience. I definitely suggest to enjoy Gloomy Eyes while you're standing up, moving around, enjoying it, following the story all the way through. It's absolutely incredible. I think this is one of the more impressive non-gaming experiences I've experienced in VR up to this point in time. And that includes Wolves in the Walls. It includes Henry. It includes a lot of really impressive, immersive, new style immersive media. And Gloomy Eyes is right up there as one of the best things that I have seen so far. And to be able to try this out on Viveport is just another testament to how good this particular subscription model is. And it works perfectly for this type of media. All right, so one of the final games that I want to get into is Ironlights. So Ironlights launched on both the Oculus Quest and also on the Oculus Rift store and on Steam. And this happened earlier this year. I was keeping track of it. It looked really good. But there's always going to be a bunch of different games that fall through the cracks for me, and I'm simply not going to try every single VR game that comes down the pipe. And that's why I like Viveport so much, because there's so many different games all throughout the service, games that you missed back in the days, games that you would have tried, but maybe they were a little too expensive at that particular point in time, or a game that you're like, oh yeah, you know, I would have liked to play that game, but I just missed it for whatever reason. And Viveport is absolutely perfect for this. And so when I saw Ironlights on the Viveport platform, I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to try a VR game I've never tried before and kind of see what kind of feel the game brings to the table. Now, what kind of a game is Ironlights? Well, it's a one-on-one melee game where you're basically in this arena and you're squared off against another opponent and you're doing a one-on-one melee battle. But the battle's interesting because it's almost like a wait your turn kind of a battle. It's not like super hectic and super crazy. It's like you do your strikes, they do their strikes, you try to get your blocks in when you can get your blocks in. When it's time for you to do your offense, you try to do your offense. A lot of it is learning the different patterns and recharging your sword to block incoming shots. Lots of different things here. I like the different arenas. I like the different graphical looks of being in daytime, being in nighttime. I love it when you strike that killer blow and it explodes your opponents into just millions of fractals that are sparkling all over the place and landing on the ground. Everything is happening in slow motion. It looks really cool. It looks very impressive. This is a really cool PC VR game that will show off your PC VR equipment pretty well. In fact, after playing this on Viveport, I'm wondering just how well does this run on an Oculus Quest headset, although the reviews tend to be pretty good over there as well. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying Ironlights. I think it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's a different kind of experience. I didn't know it was going to be a little bit more slow-paced and a little bit more relaxed, but it's still very intricate. There's plenty to learn and plenty to master, and it's definitely something worth checking out, and it's just another additional item that you can try with Viveport Infinity. All right, well, that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR 365. We're talking all about Viveport Infinity because this is episode 1 of the Viveport Report. And yes, we're definitely going to have more episodes of the Viveport Report where we're going to cover different games and different experiences that we're able to try with the Viveport service. We're not sponsored by HTC, but we'd like to be. So HTC, if you want to hook us up, go right ahead. info@vrgamerankings.com. That is the email. Alrighty, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Take it easy and later.